Part 0, Wolverine claw build. Real Wolverine claw. They're not going to actually be extendable out of my hands, but they will be carbon steel, and already stated, I want to be able to cut through something. I want to cut, and I'm thinking a watermelon because they're known for attacking, but I feel that would be a good start target to see what this could actually get through. What will this be? Currently, this is just a mild steel prototype. It let me try a few things, one of which was, did I want the back polished? And I don't. I like the idea that that is just a flat surface that cannot be cut. And then quite the opposite on this whole surface edge is the cutting edge. It goes down to the point. I don't want to have a ridge line. I want the ability that it slices through a target as easy as possible, as it will be a carbon steel, and I will polish this to, well, as fine a point as I can possibly get onto it. Another big change that's going to happen within this, my original idea, I think I wanted to be more complicated just to be complicated. I had a wrist wrap, because I usually wear wrist wraps. And the idea is when you grab the claw, it would go click, and you'd hold on, and that would give an added reinforcement to when you cut, which I believe it would, but I also believe that's going to be really complicated. So I'm believing now in part 0, we'll see if that actually continues, to extend this handpiece to a larger rectangle. So that would give me more ability to hold on to the claw, but it would allow it to flex out. I don't know if I like that idea. Moving on. I do like this idea. In the movie props, they were really neat how the production company did them. They were aluminum blades that had a hole drilled into them and then a slot, and an S piece of steel would slide into the receiver so you could position each claw perfectly on each knuckle, which gave a nice flat surface. And each one of those S pieces of steel would then incorporate into a hand block that was easily hidden into the hand to hold those claws to give the illusion. They were really sweet. I made a few pairs back in the day. I loved the look of them, but what drove me nuts is just the slightest movement and they would bend. The point of those props were to look as if you had claws. These ones are to cut as if I have claws. I'm fine with the fact that I have to put them on and they don't retract. I'm not fine with that. That is a whole story for another day, and we'll get there. I want these just to be as sharp as possible, like 3 little razor blades. Well, now I can't imagine it anymore. Another thing I want to add, I tried multiple steps. We've got an angled, start at the back, angled step, almost a square step, and then a much more of a round. I think they're all terrible. This is the one to go with, and keep it straight across. So as that enters into the hand, see how it bends down? That looks terrible. Okay, with all that stated, this is what I'm working towards. I've got the idea, I've got the sizes I want to go through, I've got this prototype that is literally falling apart in my hands, because when you use hot glue and steel backed up with a little bit of wax thread, it only lasts for so long. Let's make a better one. This piece of steel is going to represent the steel of the claw. This is out of a piece of farm equipment that would have protected the bottom of the unit so it couldn't drop down and hit the ground to break, which tells me that this is a really strong piece of steel and being spring steel. That also tells me it's going to have the flexibility, which is nice, but I don't think it's going to have the density to hold a sharp cutting edge. But as I do need to hold this directly in my hand, maybe I do want something that sharp. But we're going to see. So I have my first check mark of unknown is how nice of an edge is this going to hold. But I'm still happy to go for it because it is a good solid steel and I'll get a nice pair of claws out of them. What I will also need to do as each one, it's like making throwing knives here. When you're making a single knife, it's really simple because I just have to imagine this shape, hammer out this shape, and once it looks good to my eye, I'm done. I can stop. But if it needs a brother, like throwing knives, Each one of these knives, I can have the same shape and make the same look. But now each one of these has to be exactly the same. They need to have the same balance point. They need to have the same size. They need to have the same weight distribution. And all is that is to describe that each one of these 6 blades needs to be exactly the same. That makes it a bit troublesome, but of course makes it fun. As this shaping, to get it a 3/16 of an inch is what I'm looking for width-wise. I want it roughly an inch, and to keep that same geometry. I just keep marking. It's not bad. I'm just whining about something because I like it when each piece is uniquely their own. But on a project like this, each piece needs to be exact. And as I want to move to the future to make an ejecting, a controllable set of claws, I'm going to have those exact measurements because I'm going to have to rely on channels and springs or gears, or I have no clue. But first, I'm going to get through this. So again, this is episode 0 of the Wolverine claw builds. I want to be able to cut. I'm thinking watermelon currently would be a wonderful test. It'd be nice to get up to a meat product. It's vulgar, but I'd kind of like to know how it works. I think like Fruit Ninja style does show how an edge can be held, and a lot of fun and exercise. So with that stated, like always, I'm going to get back to work on something really fun this time. They're always fun. I'm getting back to work.